What's up? This is Well Radio Program and Director Jamel Watson. You're locked into the hottest college radio station on the web, WCKS The Well.
Live from the World Cup in South Africa.
I know, it sounds like it. Is it
they
still
used-
going?
They used that.
Did you turn off the...
No, I didn't turn this off.
There,
No, it's
we'll just do that. All right, that was kind of nice. I like coming into you too. Almost want to let it run, but this is back to the good old days here. We kind of have been transitioning all season here, season 4 on Eye on the Ball. We got our old friend Brady back in the booth, coming over from Dick's. He's been unpacking all the
coming
baseball
from Dick's,
shoes,
yeah.
and this is kind of exciting. We got McCutcheon's new shoes, we got Trout's new shoes, and Brady has been hard at work tagging them all day. Good work, Brady, for all of us baseball fans. You're doing great stuff.
I really wanted to spike my face after I left. That's how bad it got to that.
Ty Cobb style?
No, not even tight cop. Just 2 to the face. 2
Okay.
feet, not 1 foot.
There you go. Well, we are back here this week, back on the other side of the studio here in our Kirkhoff basement fishbowl. So it's good to have Brady, I guess. You know, he's all right. We're going to miss Austin. He's down at a wedding, so probably not listening, but have a good time. Break a leg tonight, kid. Have some fun. And we're ready to talk a little sports. Last night, Brady, we got a nice rivalry game in state. It's the first time in history that they've ever been top 10 going against each other. It says rivalry week in college basketball. So we were pretty penciled in to have a good game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the plan. Didn't really go to plan.
Well, if you don't know what he's talking about, that's Michigan State, and that was a
stinker. I don't know.
I don't know if stinker works. Stinker doesn't work because
it's kind of the next level.
All right. Well, so I'm watching the game, and obviously, I have a rooting interest in that game. But I mean, even before, in the Big Ten, if you pick a road team, you're probably going to be wrong more times than not.
This year, especially, yeah.
Especially this year, yeah. So, just as if last night was Michigan State at Michigan. I would have picked Michigan because it's the home team. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm sure it'll be kind of close. Maybe State will win by 8, 10 points, something like that. So then, out of nowhere, a massacre?
Maybe.
A train wreck?
I mean, I try to kind of avoid stuff, but yeah,
it was illegal. What Michigan State did to Michigan last night was illegal in more than one state.
I'm pretty sure.
And definitely illegal. Obviously not illegal in Michigan, but other states it cannot happen.
Yeah, other states they don't smile about.
And I kind of think that's good. That's going to happen tonight with Duke, North Carolina. But
I mean, that's one that I think you would expect, and that's the most disappointing.
No, I don't expect anyone in a rival game ever to lose by 30.
No,
or be down by 30.
Is you expect there to be a differential between Duke and North Carolina. You watch them play this year, you can tell that Duke is a much better team than North Carolina.
Right.
Now, North Carolina has some talent, granted. They have what's his face? The kid McAdoo. He can play some ball.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there's no problem with that. But North Carolina is not the team that Duke is. Michigan, arguably, is the better team than State this year. Although State's been playing good ball, and Michigan's on this skid. I think lost 4 of their last 5, and that was the most emphatic loss of that stretch. I think there's been a little bit of a overkill towards pushing the panic button. What are your thoughts on that, Brady? Is it
driving in today? I don't know if I've ever, even just checking Twitter, this and that, and everyone freaking out. Oh my God, we can't stop Derek Nix. When everyone in the state of Michigan, including State fans, has said Derek Nix sucks for 3 years until this point in his career now. But then this is the funny thing is that out of nowhere, I've seen people going, "Oh man, Michigan needs an offensive threat down there. They need to teach McGarry some post moves and get him a good offense down there."
I think Mitch McGarry led Michigan State in assists last night.
Well, the funny thing was they said that, so we need Mitch McGarry to be able to defend and score down there. And I think it was Dave Hogg who tweeted this, but there's 4 guys in college basketball, period, who have a post game who can score in the paint. You can just throw it down there and they can score. And even Derek Nix isn't one. Derek Nix has got 2 moves.
I mean, there's a couple guys, and we'll talk about this later in the show. One guy that I like that just has the size. He doesn't really have the moves, but can just muscle people out there. But yeah, it's a rare thing. The game has kind of moved away from that.
Right, and even, if you look at the way they've lost and who they've lost to, Derek Nix did a pretty bang-up job on him. Jared Bergeron did a pretty bang-up job on him. Cody Zeller did a pretty bang-up job on him. And Ohio State doesn't have big men, but they still lost to Ohio State one of these times. So who else they've lost? So they lost those 3 games. They beat Ohio State, and then they lost. They went 1-3.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know. The one thing I can think of all the, good and bad that comes from Michigan, at least in this, because I was saying last night, if you ever had the situation where you think of a team, say you're watching Florida Kentucky last night, and you just know that there's other teams that are really good too, and you're picturing obviously that was a blowout. It was a terrible game.
What they might look like.
But what would Florida versus Michigan be like? That's how you know you got 2 really good teams. If you could picture if you want to hypothetically think of these dream matchups, and I never until recently, maybe this past 2 weeks. Before that, there was no way I was I wonder what would happen if Michigan State played Florida. Florida would kill them. That's what I would have thought 2 weeks ago.
And maybe now I'm game.
And now I'm that might be a good game. And same thing with Michigan. And I mean, it's not like Michigan's streak has made me think, oh, they're garbage. Yeah, throw them away. They're a 5 seed.
I think we've talked about this on numerous occasions. Big Ten's tough. and so I can understand them slipping a little bit. Although I think Michigan has been exposed a little bit. I think their youth has been exposed, and when they get strapped down like that, they become this jump shooting team, and they don't really have any other option. I think Tim Hardaway was 1 for 12 last night. Anyways, wasn't hitting a bucket. Stauskas wasn't hitting anything, and they get exposed with that. But
Right.
I think you brought up a good point with Michigan State coming into the scene. And I think Izzo even commented this in his presser, but he said, just so happens Michigan State, we came out, we probably played our best game of the season, and Michigan possibly came out and played their worst. And it was disappointing, I think, for anybody that was impartial to that game, that was hoping just for a good game, because it was not. It was borderline unwatchable unless you're a state slappy. But I think that Michigan State has been one of the bigger risers in the last week or so on as far as programs in the level, and I think it's safe to say that they're going to be very much in the picture come March.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, there's no reason to panic because what happens in February.
I'm
doesn't
talking about
happen.
State too coming in and
Oh
and
no,
being in the
that's what I
March.
mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Panic or over piling praise. It doesn't matter what you're doing right now.
yeah.
Michigan State, if anybody in the whole country knows that, they've
That's
proven
what they
that.
make a living doing. Yeah.
But I did this the other day. I was just kind of curious. I looked up the stats, and Michigan's played 7 games before last night. 7 games against teams that have been ranked this season. That would be including Wisconsin. That includes Pitt, who was ranked, who wasn't
that's
ranked at the
right,
time, but is ranked now.
And then Indiana, Ohio State,
Ohio State,
Michigan State,
Minnesota,
right? Who's ranked at
and then
1 point.
another one. There's one more. I don't remember what it is though. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah.
So 7 games, and in the 7 games against those teams, he shot just 42 of 110, which is 38%. So he's taking
Who
a
we
lot of
talking about?
Trey Burke.
Trey Burke.
38%, which is terrible
It's
in
not good.
games against them. But he has averaged 7 assists and 1.7 turnovers. So last night, I'm thinking, well, he's probably just going to chuck the ball up a lot, still get some guys involved, and it'll be close. It was the opposite. He couldn't get anybody set up at all. And a lot of his game is like drive and dish kind of stuff.
He takes advantage of just
And-
being quick.
And I don't think that, and I don't know if Michigan State played him for that. They kind of played that game as if Trey Burke drives past us and he gets to the basket, let him score, but he's not going to kick out and get everybody else going. Because that's when Michigan's dangerous, when Stauskas and Robinson and Hardaway all get going. And you have this four-headed monster that, even when they miss, that's when Jordan Morgan and...
Crash.
Yeah, so last night, I mean, Glenn Robinson looked terrible like he has the last 5 games. Nick Stauskas was pretty good. But Tim Hardaway, I don't get him at all.
No, he's an enigma because he was arguably the best player the other night, and he just couldn't buy a shot. And it's been his whole career. There's times where he'll show up, rarely, but times where he'll show up in the clutch situations, and he'll play great ball. And that's the kind of player he is. He's got the one-on-one game. He can hit shots when he's on. He can drive. He's that classic slasher. But there's times where he disappears. He makes himself a jump shooter. And it's kind of like LeBron used to be, where he's nowhere near the athlete that LeBron is, but you keep him out from driving. You just make him a pure jump shooter, and as long as he's not on fire, you totally eliminate him from the offensive picture.
He's a better jump shooter than LeBron, I'll give you that, but I do agree with the mentality kind of thing.
Right.
But he's even a guy who, traditionally has really killed good, not great. Your Minnesotas, your Illinois, but like Indiana's, Michigan State's, that kind of thing. He comes up small, and it's whatever reason that is. I mean,
Yeah, some guys seem to have it and come play in big situations. And I'm not saying it couldn't. I mean, he could. And there's been a few points in his career where you could point at and say, yeah, Tim Hardaway was great. He really helped us put this game away. But it's just not as often as you like, especially since Michigan fans believe that he can be that guy, that closer for you. Because I don't know, is Trey Burke the closer on this team? I don't think so. I mean, they're a young team, and I just don't know that they have that element. I think that's certainly a weakness. And then, of course, like you said too, we both kind of mentioned, when they're not hitting their shots and when you kind of component them down to 1 or 2 scoring options, it takes away everything that they've got going. They don't have one guy that can just create offense by himself.
I mean, Burke can do that, but at the same time, I mean,
I don't think that's his game though.
he could. I mean, he can. He obviously, 7-11 last night against,
Right.
a good defensive point guard, but
But he's more of a driving.
But he's more of a driving dish guy and creative.
So it's this whole team. You know,
his offense is created by his playmaking.
But this is not like a CJ McCollum team where CJ's.
Oh no, he's not a scorer. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not that kind of player, and it's not that kind of team. Now, of course, you always want the team to be cohesive, and that's what good teams do, and all the components work together. But I think the one player on Michigan's team, on this roster right now, who you point at and say, this guy should be able to get you some points.
Spike Albrecht.
There you go. That's a good name. But, one guy that should be able to, when the offense isn't working.
Hardaway.
Yeah, it's Hardaway. And Hardaway is this enigma, and that's frustrating, I think, to a lot of Michigan people, because he's the guy that you'd kind of like to float on, and it's tough to do with him.
And my thing with Burke is that, he likes to take these end-of-the-game shots, and he takes the worst. He has the worst shots. I mean, he can make tough shots, but at the end of the game, he has the worst shot selection in terms of just taking these fadeaway threes and whatever. And even, this was kind of an argument I had with somebody who, I won't say his name because he's not listening, but he was just being a really big idiot about it. So the game Michigan lost to Wisconsin, no.
Kick, is it? All right.
He's been a contributor to the show before, though. So, the game they lost to Wisconsin, obviously Hardaway hits the three to give him the lead, and then Ben Brust hits the half quarter at the buzzer.
Yes.
And there's the whole decision of why didn't you foul? And he's telling me, well, Coach B said that you should have fouled. Coach B knows more than you, blah, blah, blah. Two things. First, Karis LeVert, a freshman who plays 8 minutes a game.
Is going to hit a shot on you.
Who played in the first half only in that game, was thrown on the court and said, all right, go out there and foul this kid, but don't foul him while he's shooting. Don't be the GOAT. And so then the second thing, there's actually more than two things here. I kind of messed that up. So you got to scrub out there, basically. We'll say he can be good. He's good defensively, but he's not
situationally. He's not
situationally. You don't throw a cold kid out there at the end of the game, especially a freshman.
Agreed.
That should be all right. That's where that comes into my Trey Burke. Why wasn't Trey Burke being like, "Hey coach, I'll foul him. I know how to do it. I'm good." Not, "Hey coach, I don't play very much. I'll do it." So second, a kid is going towards the basket. Momentum. You can't foul somebody when their momentum is going towards the basket because you will get either clear path foul or you'll foul them shooting.
Yeah, it's a shooting foul.
And he didn't get that. But my thing is, why the hell wasn't Trey Burke or Tim Hardaway covering the guy who was going to shoot the shot? Why was Trey Burke covering the ball? Why weren't they? And if you want to be the star and take all these big shots,
you gotta close.
You gotta say, hey. I mean, does LeBron James say, hey, I want to guard him? Does Kobe Bryant say, hey, I want to guard this guy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you want to be the big shot, then be the big shot all the time.
I agree.
And he was.
I think that's a really good point on how many ever points you brought up. I thought that would.
Yeah, that obscure amount of points was correct. So, anyways, yeah, that's what I don't know. That's kind of my thing with Trey Burke is that, and then the whole working with Piston Powered thing, and I read the comments all the time. The best part about that is that there's the comments there they're very lively, and some people are really smart.
Very biased. Yeah, there's some that are well thought out.
They're pretty, and it's really conversational and whatnot. But every single person's like,
we want Trey Burke.
Trade back to about number 15 and draft Trey Burke, and I'm like,
I think he'll be a fine point guard in the NBA.
He's going to be a really fine backup. He's going to be a change of pace, get in there, score some points, get some assists, and come back out.
I think people want him to be like this Chris Paul guy. He's not a Chris Paul guy. Chris Paul could shoot lights out, and Trey Burke can't. He can hit a shot. He can drive a little bit. He doesn't have that full game. But yeah, I think he's a fine player. He'll be close to a lottery guy.
All right, we'll talk about that later. We got that'll be later.
Yeah, so we got the Michigan.
All right, the State thing though.
Okay.
Go.
On State, where do I think of them? I think State played really good ball.
I would agree. I just wanted to hear you say that.
All right, yeah.
I don't know. They were that.
We did mention this earlier in the show, but one team in the nation that tournament time is going to be ready, no matter what kind of roster, however they've played in the regular season. They have not played bad in the regular season, but I think they're playing their best ball now. It's perfect timing, and tournament time, they would be a team that I would not want to play.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
Especially if they come out and play like they did last night. That's a team that's really, really tough to
beat. I'm going to go.
Who beats them? If they play like they did last night, who beats them? I mean,
they would last night. If they play like they did last night, they would beat anybody.
And I got a couple teams that maybe we'll talk about later, but I think we started this off good. We've got Michigan State, Michigan, a little in-state rivalry.
Here's the thing right here, though. If the tournament starts tomorrow, where does each team seed? Like, what's their seed right now? Like, as of last time,
Let's
they
talk
came
about
out?
that after the break here. We'll get into that,
Okay.
and we'll talk them in. If you have anything you'd like to talk in, you want to stir a little bit of the pot that's left with the Michigan State, give us a call on the Red Bull hotline, 616-331-2875. We also have our Facebook and Twitter up and running. But this has been Eye on the Ball with Brady and Pete back again. We'll be back after the break.
All right, we'll get you some news here on Whale Radio.
Paperback
Is there all matter? Will you read my book? It took me years to write. Will you take a look? It's based on a novel by a man named Lear, and I need a job, so I want to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. It's a dirty story of a dirty man, and his clinging wife doesn't understand. His son is working for the Daily Mail. It's a steady job, but he wants to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. Paperback writer. It's 1,000 pages, give or take a few. I'll be writing more in a week or two. I can make it longer if you like the style. I can change it around, and I want to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. If you really like it, you can have the rights. You could make $1 million for you overnight. If you must return it, you can send it here. But I need a break, and I want to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. Paperback writer.
Eye on the Ball, we are back. Talked a little bit Michigan State, Michigan, and the drubbing that was last night's competition between the two schools. Michigan State blows them out, up by 31 points at one stretch during the game. It was an ugly one. But we're going to talk about something else, because as a Michigan guy, I can't handle any more of this. We teased a little bit before the break that we're going to talk a little bit about the tournament just coming up here. We were sitting back and thinking, it's mid-February
Some
already.
month away almost.
How about that? Time flies. But we got this big tournament called, they call it like March Madness or something. Picked schools and it's a lot of basketball. It's supposed to be a good time. And we're getting to that point where we can start kind of talking about what schools are going to be in the picture and how they're going to be set up and some things maybe to start kind of keeping an eye on down the stretch. So Brady.
Oh, by the way, Facebook, check it out. Who are your sleeper teams? That's what we're gonna get into. Just wanted to throw it out there before I forget.
Yeah, start thinking about that. Any team that you think that maybe isn't getting their proper due or could be kind of waiting in the reeds come tournament time.
Ooh, they're waiting the reeds. Look at you.
There we go.
Riverboat Gambler over here.
That's right. You know how it go. So Brady, we've talked a little bit about State and Michigan coming into the show. Where do you see them being?
Did you just steal my question that I asked you
I
before the
flipped
break?
Question.
That's
I'm
bull.
a riverboat gambler.
You just took my joke too. My God, where is your originality? Well, as of
Reality is
not
the ability to hide your
apparent
senses.
in Pistol Pete. Well, last week I know that Michigan was the number 1 seed and State was a 3 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So now, I mean, I would guess 2 and 2 seeds, both 2 seeds. I mean, it's
That's
not.
what
I
I
don't.
kinda was
Although
thinking.
you could argue Michigan's number 1 seed because they're 2 games up in the best conference.
How you think that the Big Ten finishes up.
Oh,
And-
but it's happening right now though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think projecting forward, I think the other team that could kind of put a
Indiana.
Here, yeah, it's Indiana.
But no, I'm saying like right now though. Today.
Yeah.
Tournament starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are they a 1?
No.
Even though it's Indiana 1? Third place in their conference?
I think probably right now.
If you could choose though, you would choose Indiana as a 1 seed, even though they're in third place.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, cause
No, answer.
if you-
Don't be. You're beating around the bush. Answer the damn question.
I think yeah. I mean, if you ask me after
No,
what
I'm asking you today, Pete. I'm asking you the day before Valentine's Day.
I know.
Is Indiana a 1 seed today?
Considering that Michigan lost by 30 points yesterday, yes.
No. So
Yeah, I mean
Well-
that's context. I mean, it takes into count
I
their
don't
season.
think, I don't think no matter how Michigan lost, that doesn't affect Indiana because Indiana beat Michigan.
Well, you probably want at least one Big Ten school to be a number 1 seed. Am I right?
I mean, could you argue two though? Just like the
Sure,
SEC
you
could
could.
argue.
You could maybe argue 2, but you at least let's say 1. You at least have to have 1.
Right, yeah.
Maybe 2. And after last night, it's not State because they haven't done it all season quite to that level.
I mean,
they played great ball.
Who have they lost to though?
Nobody big, but they haven't been quite on that
I mean,
stratosphere.
they've lost to what? Number 1, number 5,
Yeah.
and number who else? I don't know. Who
All right. So do you want to put State number 1?
I'm just saying, can you argue that?
I think you could argue. I'm not going to.
Why not?
I'm not going to.
What has State done less than Indiana?
Yeah, I guess Indiana has bigger loss
Indiana just lost to Illinois,
on a horrible.
and they stayed number
they
1. I
the
don't get
big
how that
defense.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
I agree. I'm just
It's
saying.
a push. You could go either one. I think.
You can go all, yeah, any of the 3 you can make an argument for. If you were to ask me though, going into yesterday, I would have said Michigan. I think they've been the best team that I've seen all around. We've talked a lot about Oladipo on the show. He's been great for Indiana this year. Zeller's been very good. They're a good team. Michigan State, they're a good team, and they showed that last night.
I would
But
even
think-
argue. I
I
would
think-
even give if you're to pick. Finish. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say right now for me it would be Indiana, and it's not because I love Indiana. I just think that Michigan's kind of in my bad graces right now. Michigan State, I'm just not sure that they've completely earned the number 1. You could argue it certainly.
All right, Indiana's second place. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have to be above State, right?
Wisconsin is no, they're right. They're behind State. They're
Oh,
getting back.
State's all right. Yeah.
State's on top by themselves.
Okay.
But Miami's a 1 seed to me.
Guaranteed. Yeah. And Miami's one of the teams I want to talk about because they've been really one of my favorite teams to watch this season.
I don't think there's a Big East that sticks out. Syracuse has
I
been.
think Louisville's been good. I don't know that they stick out.
Louisville's lost like 4 of their last 6, bro.
Yeah, and they got drubbed by Kansas. The Macklemore dropped 30 on him the other night. It was his 20th birthday.
Against Louisville?
Yeah,
Kansas played Louisville?
didn't they?
No, Kansas played Kansas State.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It was Kansas State. Who played Louisville? Louisville, yeah, they've
Louisville's
been
lost. No, Louisville. Believe me, on the shoe floor at Dick's, all there is Big East basketball at night.
Okay,
Like,
so
like
you got-
every night I hear Peyton
But
Siva,
Syr-
Peyton Siva.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Syracuse has been very solid, and
Syracuse is the first one I kind of like, but I mean Kansas, you can't give them a 1 seed. Duke, I guess you could argue because Duke's playing out there, arguably like one of their top 3 players. And
I think
So-
Duke's a team that just has the pedigree that you could throw in the mix,
right,
even when they're not quite deserving.
I don't know.
of
So you
it.
got we'll say the contenders for a 1 seed right now. We'll take. There's no Big East team.
Syracuse. Well, I
Sy-
think Syracuse maybe.
Yeah, Syracuse. All right.
But let's
so
say
Syracuse,
Duke, Miami,
Syracuse,
those 3 Big Ten teams we mentioned.
Syracuse.
Maybe Florida.
Nah, maybe.
I think they could enter
Florida's
the
one of the teams I want.
discussion.
Yeah, Florida's one of the teams I want to talk about too. But the way they lost the other night, that kind of
Did
pushed
you
them
say
back.
Arizona?
No, Pac-12 sucks too
Yeah,
much.
I thought I heard you. What team did you say?
What?
You said a team. I thought you said Arizona. Who did you mention? I heard. Was it Florida that you were talking about?
I was just talking about Florida. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's 7 teams, 8 teams that are competing for those 4 spots, and then
and then the ones that don't get it will be the number 2s. Yeah.
So, yeah. No.
I think, and I was a little emphatic with it, maybe a little bit too much so, but I think the one that sticks out and the one that you mentioned was Miami. I think they're a team that's built well, and I think they've even surprised themselves a little bit because Miami, as good of a football team or football program as they've had in the past, they've never been a basketball school. I think the highest they'd ever been ranked prior to this season was 8th, and they hadn't been that since 1960. And so for them to be in this top 3 mix right now, I think is really foreign territory and something that they weren't really looking at.
And their best player of like the last 15 years is Jack McClinton, who was this little athletic springy guard who
Who could really score?
Didn't make it in the NBA, but was
And
really
he's in
good.
the D League right now. He's playing with
Is he?
the
Ants.
Ants.
The Knicks affiliate, isn't it? Or,
I don't know who they're affiliated.
I think it's
the
something.
like the
Fort Wayne.
Anteaters.
Fort Wayne Mad Ants.
Yeah, Mad Ants. That's what it is. Yep.
Yeah,
Is that the Knicks?
That's the Pistons feeder.
Yeah. So he's playing there right now. But yeah.
no, but and he's like even when he was there, they were still not a tournament team.
All right, I got a few things I want to hit you with the Miami thing. They've got this point guard who's been balling out the last couple weeks, or last 5 games. He's shooting 61.5%.
This is a player.
Yep, this is a player. He's averaging 16.5 points and has 5.5 assists over the last 5 games. He's a son of a Hall of Famer.
But did you say a team?
Miami.
Oh God, I can only think of the big guy.
Well, the big guy's awesome too, but this is Shane Larkin. He is a sophomore point guard with Miami. He's 13-4-4 on the year. Been shooting a little over 40% from 3 this year. He's been real good. Little undersized point guard, doing well. They've got this senior off guard, Durant Scott. 14.
Durant Scott's good.
Yeah, 14 point per game guy. Plays solid defense. But then where Miami really is tournament built and has really been making their money this year, they've got this front line that is absolutely phenomenal. And you've got Kenny Kajee, who's 6'11", 242 pounds, is putting up 13.5 points per game, 6.8 rebounds, and he's shooting close to 50% from the field. Then you've got their rotational guy, Julian Gamble, who's 6'10", 250. He's giving you 6.5 points, 5 rebounds, but he's hitting 55% from the field. And then the breadwinner here is a guy named Reggie Johnson, who's...
That's my boy.
I love watching
Beefy.
him play. Big 42, 6'10", 290. Looks like he's probably at least 3. But he's putting up 10 points, 9 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. He's hitting close to 40% from the field. And then he's not a liability as a free throw shooter. He's hitting 70% of his free throws. Now, this isn't like league leading or anything like that. I think they're 65th in the nation. But as a team, they're hitting 46% from the field. So this is a team that's just very, very efficient, and a team that has really great bigs and depth at bigs.
And they hot dog. I like that.
They do. They're fun.
At the end of that North Carolina game, they were just clowning them. And the funny
Reggie
thing-
Johnson got whistled the other day, and he went up and tried to slap 5 with the referee, which I got a kick out of.
Well, they did that, and then I know that in that same North Carolina game, they North Carolina was like throwing up alley oops and stuff down by like 27, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's not good.
That's
and
not how you
And then
play.
Miami comes back down and throws like an off the backboard alley oop, and I'm like, that's not good. But they're good. No, I mean, even when they lost to State, I remember I watched that at a pizza place in Kentucky, and that was at that time you had no idea what the hell Miami was. They were just, they were a solid team. Last year they were a solid team, but they've had quite the revival under Jim Larinaga, who is
Yeah.
famous for leading George Mason on that magical 2000 and what?
That's right.
8?
Yeah.
No, 2004.
There's 4, I
run.
think.
No, it wasn't 4. 5, 6, 2006.
It was 6 that they made it to the
Rudy
Final
Gay
Four,
was
wasn't
there.
it?
2006 is the I think it was like a 13 seed. So, or no, 12 seed. They beat Michigan State. Or no, 13. They beat State in the first round for 13. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Which is one of the bigger upsets that we've
right.
seen.
I mean, all those games they won were upsets. They beat the Connecticut team that year that had Rudy Gay on it. But yeah, no. It's a good story, and I like I love that they killed Duke that one time. They got a 2-game
30
lead.
point, yeah.
Right.
Um,
The one thing though, me and Pete did discuss this before we came in here, was that their losses.
Have been pretty bad.
One wasn't. I mean,
One against Arizona,
19
who's
points to Arizona, which is still pretty crappy considering where they're at now.
right, and you don't want to be losing, by 20 points to anybody. But that one is, it's a good team. You can have a bad night.
Yeah,
But the
then
other
there's-
two-
Then there's the second game they lost to Florida Gulf Coast by.
And this is their second game
12,
of the season, so
by 12
maybe
points.
you could rationalize that and say, hey, we're still
I mean, you
coming
can
together.
rationalize it however you want.
But it's a bad loss, and then
And
Indiana State.
who's all right, but that's
You know
like
what?
still-
I don't think they're that all right. I don't think
they're all
that's
right
a good.
for a mid-major.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
I think
I think it's a
they're-
bad loss.
I think,
No,
I
I'm-
think 2 weeks ago they were in first place in the.
No,
conference,
that's
so.
fine. I'm just saying it's not good enough to say that's a good loss in any stretch.
Oh
So,
no,
yeah,
they lost in overtime, but still, yeah.
The 3 losses are not great, but I think they've played really solidly, and I like kind of how they're built. Like I said, they're built top to bottom, so they've got. And the one thing that surprised me, Larkin, who's the son of Barry Larkin, famous Red shortstop for years, Hall of Fame Red shortstop.
That's true.
But he's a guy that doesn't get as many assists as I would expect him to because he just feeds the big guys all day. But watching Miami play, that's what he does. He facilitates these guys. They're not exactly high scorers, but they rebound efficiently. They hit their shots. It's a very efficient team. And Johnson was one of the guys I was referring to earlier in the show when he doesn't exactly have a deep arsenal of post game. He has a couple moves, got a good drop step. He's not super athletic, and that's what we've seen a lot from bigs. He doesn't jump off the floor, but he's got good hands. He understands spacing well, and he's a guy that can just muscle guys, especially on the college level, out of there. I think this is a team that's built to make a deep run, and I think they'll definitely be a team that'll probably get a number 1 seed, or at least should get a number 1 seed if it was ending today.
If it ended today, they definitely would. But there's a lot of things that can go on. And
Absolutely.
The thing is that the thing that would kind of
Then they'll play Duke again. Other
push
than
it
that,
off.
they should win out. But
they play Duke again. Duke will get Ryan Kelly back eventually, you'd assume.
Right.
Who's going to make them a lot better. And then the whole thing, like, you can win the regular season if you're Miami, but you still have to do something in the tournament. I mean, Miami can't expect to get a 1 seed after winning the regular season and drop in the first or second game in the tournament.
now you went out and explained the whole George Mason tie, which is important because they've got it from the coaching. But Miami's a program, as I was saying, they haven't been there. They have not done the whole tournament bit. They haven't even done the whole NIT bit. You know, they haven't made a deep run in that. This team has zero experience on that. Now, the players fluctuate, you know, from years to years, but I think it does make a difference, and so I think that's a good point. Miami, as good of a season as they've had, credit where credit is due, has done nothing yet.
I like them, and this is the kind of situation where I'm at with them. With all you said, right? I mean, if Miami went to the Elite Eight, would you be surprised?
No, I hope they
Miami
do.
lost,
They'll
if
be.
Miami lost in the first weekend, would you be surprised?
No,
No.
I think that they could
One way
certainly
or the
happen.
other. One way or the other. I mean, they're not going to lose their first game, but I mean, you get to that second weekend, maybe in the Sweet 16, I could see them dropping that.
Yeah,
You know, once
I
you
mean
get
it
to-
always depends on who you match up against, but yeah,
right.
they're not unbeatable.
I feel like they're just, you know, maybe this is just because they've lost to two subpar level teams, but like,
You think maybe
That's-
they play down? Is that what you're thinking?
no, that's just one of those teams that like I could see like, oh, out of nowhere, oh, Drake beats Miami, or
Creighton.
South Dakota State comes in and beats. No, not even Creighton. Creighton's
Creighton's
a
really good.
legit mid-major. I'm talking about like one of those teams where it's
That
like,
just
who
comes
the
out of
hell is
nowhere.
this team? That
Right.
kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, so I don't know. All right, my team is also in Florida, and like Pete, it's not really a sleeper. We haven't gotten to those yet, but it's the Gators, and you know, I don't. Maybe it's
I
the
think
same.
you secretly picked them because you have a crush on Tim Tebow.
Yeah, that's it. Without a shirt on in the rain. That's Aaron Duddle's kind of territory, actually. But Florida's a good team, and they've been. I mean, Florida's always a good team, and I hated them last year pretty much because of Chandler. Well, 2 years ago because of Chandler Parsons. I did not like that guy at all.
No.
But they've, you know, right now they're a team that's just.
Well, I brought up
athletic.
Florida a second ago as being a number 1 team, and you kicked them to the curb.
I don't know. I don't because they don't. The SEC isn't that good.
I think they're at least going to be in
They're in the conversation.
consideration for 2.
But I mean, they killed Kentucky last night, albeit Kentucky without Nerlens Noel, who tore his ACL. We'll talk about that later too, though. But I mean, they've had some good wins. They killed Wisconsin. They killed Florida State. They got beat by 1 point against Arizona at Arizona. They lost to Kansas State by 6, and then they've just ran amok through the SEC up until, including being both Missouri and Mississippi by a combined 44 points. And they did lose to Arkansas.
I mean,
who's-
neither of those teams are particularly impressive, but, you know,
I mean, both
winning by
16
average
16
22
16 and
points.
17 though to blow out the two top 20 teams by 20 and 30.
22 points, yeah. That's
But
pretty
I mean, then Arkansas is, you know, pretty crap. But they've got a good guard in B.J. Young, who's, you know, well, they're not even crap. I mean, 14-9, 5-5. They're just very average. But they've got, you know, some good guards. But I don't know. I like Florida. I watched them last night, and they were really, really good defensively. And I think if you've got, because I don't know, I've always tried to think of, because my brackets are terrible every freaking year.
Surprise, surprise. Brady and I sure can pick them.
You know, I've been good maybe a few times, but really most times I'm just not. But I've always tried to find out what is the theory. You know, there's always
The
you know,
bracketology.
and actually the funny thing is that, you know, our buddy Kieran is posting on the Facebook page, his sleeper is Michigan State. Oh, wait, they're not a sleeper because they just stomped Michigan's guts out. But he posted this, Gut Research favorite sleeper, Gut, the ESPN commercial. And that's like, what is your formula for picking a bracket? And obviously, it's way too early to pick them.
All three.
But I've been no. I thought of this. I picked with my gut before, and it's not been good. I used to do this. This is nothing against this girl, my friend Kelly. She's been in the same bracket as me. We've done the same thing with all our friends since 10th grade. And I might have been the best in 10th grade. At that point, that was my high point in picking college basketball tournament.
It's all been downhill from there.
And I know that she doesn't watch like half as much as the guys that are in this group.
And she can pick them dead.
And for some reason, she wins money every GD year. So, however that happens. But, so I mean, I don't know. There's no science to it. But I've even talked to this with, this is something I learned, 3 years ago. Last game of the season, Grand Valley talking to their coach, Rick Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
And he explained to me that in order to be a special tournament team, this is just kind of his idea, and I liked it. You got to have 3 guys who just get it. 3 guys who will just give it up, go out there, give you all they have,
and play for the betterment of the team.
Play for everything. And at that point, this is Ohio State, so you're looking at Ohio State. That was when Aaron Kraft was a freshman, David Letty was a senior.
And you had Sully?
Sullinger. Then like Buford and the other guys are kind of there, but
yeah,
those
and
guys
they were a number 1 seed.
That's a trio of like heart.
And Florida, the team that you did not like, was one of the sleeper. I think they were number 1 or number 2.
But then think about it back. Keep thinking back. No, this is before. This is after that. That was the Odin Florida team you're thinking of. If you think back at those good Florida teams, are the ones that won the championship.
No, Odin played for Ohio State.
Yeah, but not with Aaron Kraft.
No, yeah, but I'm not talking about the Florida teams with.
Oh, you're thinking.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not talking about. No, I'm talking about. They were the number 1 seed with Sully matched up. They matched up with that. They were good.
Yeah, no, that Ohio State team. That's what I mean. Is that like those 3 guys? That Ohio State team. That Ohio State team was good because of those 3 guys in that tournament.
But they didn't. They went to 16.
They went to the Elite 8.
Did they go to 8? Okay.
I think they did. Yeah, they went pretty far. I mean, Elite 8, I think.
But they were a number 1 seed, so I don't know that. I mean, it's not a knock against
listen
them.
To the formula, though. Then you go back and you keep applying that. 3 great guys. Kansas. You had Cole Aldrich was a guy who just didn't give it up. Mario Chalmers.
I mean, I don't think this is that revolutionary because good teams.
But Florida, all the good teams have the 3 guys.
Yeah.
Florida wasn't joking.
I agree.
That.
But
then you think of a team that's bad or that team that's like sneaky good that gets there. Who's a team that was really, really surprising last year? NC State.
Oh yeah.
They had the young guy in C.J. Leslie. They had the senior guard or the junior guard at that point in Scott Wood, and they had the point guard in Lorenzo. That's 3 guys. It's just
I don't know if they're 3 great guys, but
not 3 great guys. They don't have to. They're 3 glue guys who are
that get it.
They're gonna get it.
Right.
So that's my thing. That's what I'm gonna try and figure out. And like with Florida, you got Kenny Boynton, who's one of the most.
You never know who the guys are gonna be.
Right. But that's what you kind of got to figure out, though. I mean, you kind of know that.
If you watch him at all in the
Kraft,
season,
you kind of know he's going to be a guy like that, and you have to have a star.
So
usually.
I mean, for me, Miami fits that formula to a degree.
In
but
Florida, you got.
Yeah, it just
Kenny
depends
Boynton,
on how they came up. Yeah.
Boynton, Patrick Young, and oh my God, what's his name? The guy from St. Joe's.
All right, well let's kind of bring this full circle then.
Yeah,
because it's not bad. But we talked about Michigan and Michigan State coming into the show. So are these teams that fit the formula? Because you could make an argument.
Mike Rosario's guy is the 3rd guy for Florida.
Okay, maybe.
Oh, Pete's rooting for the U and doesn't want the Gators to be good.
No, it has nothing to do. I think Rosario is a little bit of a stretch, but you can make an argument, and that's what this is because there's very few times where you get a team like North Carolina circa 2004 where you have 5 guys,
or
6 guys.
2000 when they had Barnes and everybody on that team just a couple years ago. Last year.
Sure, that was a good team, but I'm talking Sean May, Felton, Marvin Williams.
Oh, that actually finishes it off.
Yeah, Rashad McCants. I mean,
Duke in 1999 with like Elton Brand.
Sure, Jay Williams. Yeah, those teams are kind of few and far between. I guess you could even make an argument for the Florida team in 2006 that won back-to-back. Noah Horford, Brewer, all those guys.
Green.
Yeah, guys that teams like that aren't built all the time and don't come around all that often. But I think that is a good point that Wesley brought up, and I think you can play that game. I don't see a whole lot of teams that really exemplify, but Kansas is a team I know you've been high on and talked about before. But you got Whitey, you got McLemore. I mean, maybe you can throw a 3rd in.
McLemore is not Macklemore. McLemore, not Macklemore.
That's what I said. McLemore.
McLemore is the white rapper with one good song.
Oh no! He has lots of good songs. I'm gonna send Daryl at you.
Daryl likes Macklemore.
Yeah.
Oh God, tell him.
Why did you said that like that? That's
I don't know, man. Because I just don't picture Daryl rocking out to like the white guy.
he's a good
snapback
rapper.
rap.
What does
He's not
White
that
have to do
good.
it? He's
not
good.
that good. He's
Listen,
not that good.
all right, listen to the
Listen,
heist. I want to know,
listen.
folks.
If we're ranking the white rappers right now, Macklemore is not near the top.
All right, so who do you got? Is it Snow for you? Is Snow number
Eminem
one?
is number one.
All right, so we got Snow. We've got
Who's
Vanilla
Snow?
Ice. You see, you're not even qualified to be talking about this. Why don't you just go sit down and wait?
I would take Mac Miller
Folks,
over Macklemore.
I want to. Oh my god! All right, so the heist came out. This Macklemore's album came out a little bit
Yeah, I
ago.
haven't. It's not very good.
Oh my gosh!
There's one
All right,
that-
let us
Surf Shop is
know.
pretty good.
Please, somebody correct this fool over here, who does not even know who Snow is. It's I don't even know.
Listen, if he's snow, he's gonna melt away. So that's
That's
fine
right.
with me.
He's chilling up in Canadian prison or somewhere. I don't know. All right. I would like to know though. Can you have 3 guys on Michigan State or on Michigan? We'd like to hear that. Who are your teams that you're watching for in the tournament? We talked about it. We got a little bit in the Florida. Brady, you want to cue us up with a song here, brother?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get some Jimi Hendrix. No, it's
Oh,
too short.
You know, we could play some Macklemore.
Let's find some Macklemore. Fine. You know what, Pete? Let's
Let's
leave you- I'm
some
gonna leave you here by
Macklemore.
yourself. Talk to yourself.
Macklemore. I wonder if Macklemore will drop a freestyle if he wins the championship this year. They should get on a track together. I think that would be pretty dope.
You know, it's funny that this great radio station doesn't play great music like Macklemore.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on there somewhere. What are you dishing this music for, man? This is great. The best hippie music this side of the Grand River.
Shut up. I can't play U2 again. I don't know why U2 comes up every time. This is great radio, by the way, right now.
If Brady could pick a song. You know what it is, Brady? You're rusty. You're rusty, man. You lost your touch.
Here, this song is about Pete. I'm about Brady and Pete.
Just like an angel, skin makes me cry. Float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special, so fucking special. But I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't. What the hell am I thinking? I don't belong here. Don't care if wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weather without my trouble. I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Streaming around.
Never betray the way you always know it. One day I'll be wondering how. I guess I won't just wondering how. Never got cold, wearing out in the snow. That's the way to be on. I'm more concerned to be condescending. Oh, get small, get burned, won't quit.
On the ball, we are back. Talked a lot of college basketball so far in the show. It's felt good. We got Brady back with us. I know it's kind of a drag. Hopefully he won't be with us too much longer, though. Daryl's on his way to tune him up.
I'm shaking in my boots, Daryl.
I will be live reporting as Daryl whoops Brady's ass. So stay tuned for that. If you've never listened to On the Ball before.
What? I'm Macklemore. What?
Oh, this
Anyways.
damn fool. Okay. We talked all about some of the teams we had up top in college basketball coming into the tournament. Now we're going to talk a little bit about sleepers. Brady, I understand you have one picked out.
I
that
do.
you're
Well, I'm
looking
going to
at.
read these first. Brian Gold joins in and drops UCLA and Texas as unranked teams that
Those are actually
could make a
decent
push.
picks.
I don't like UCLA because they're just such a mess.
We
but
just don't like
Texas-
Shabazz Muhammad. That's your
No,
you
no,
hate on him.
I would love to have Shabazz Muhammad play basketball for my team, but not
Your
to
professional team.
My professional team, not the college team. But Texas, I like
I mean,
them, but they
in
don't.
the back half of the season, for people that haven't been paying attention, Shabazz has played much better. He's, I think, averaging about 18 points a game right
18
now.
and 6 or something like
yeah,
that.
something like that.
And Texas is also, depending on how you feel about it, but
That's a good pick. I like both those.
yeah, I mean, Texas gets back Nick Kabongo pretty quick, so that'll be, or have they already gotten him back? Whenever they get him back, they're gonna be better. That's possible too. And then obviously mine, I posted on there Notre Dame, and Brian responded by saying I don't trust that, and I agree. I never really have either. I've always picked them to lose in the first round, anyways. But this team's got good guards, and they've got Jack Cooley, who's
And you want to know who Jack Cooley is?
Luke Herringoti's twin.
He is the second coming of Luke Herringody.
They look the same.
They look the same.
They
They're
play
built the same. They're 6'8", 250-ish. They play the same.
This is when Herringoti was still there, when they were still like, I thought that was his brother. I was like, hey, he's got a brother, and they look exactly like, that's cute.
You want another guy I want to bring up here because has a tie to Michigan? Garrick Sherman, who has not been good. He's a big man that's rarely used on the team. Transfer from Michigan
Killed
State.
it in the 5 overtime game.
Yeah, 17-6.
All
Comes
in
out
overtime.
and hit a game-winning shot. Yeah, crazy.
Eric Sherman was like, he was just never really that good at Michigan State. I
No,
felt like
he wasn't.
he always just felt like he was playing at a level too high, like division too high. Like he wasn't like a Big Ten player. He was like a Central Michigan player.
True.
But hey, you win the game from Notre Dame. You win the game from Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame's a good pick. My pick is one that I don't trust either, but Cincinnati. I think they play as good press defense as any team in the country. And that's the one thing you'll get out of them. You'll get press perimeter D, really stout.
Shooting.
Yeah, they get some good shootings, and they're a team that crashes the boards, especially on offense. They'll get second chances. I don't know that they have those three guys or if they're really consistent enough on offense to really do much as far as make a run. And I think right now they're in the bottom of the poll, depending on where you look. They're right around 25 or just off the poll. Yeah. I like Cincinnati, though. I think there'd be a good, solid, maybe 4 seed, somewhere in there, 5, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they're going to be one of the top 30.
And, everybody loves those 5-12s. I think that, that could be one maybe that you be careful with. Another team, and we've talked about them a little bit today, is Gonzaga. They're not really a team that sneaks up on anybody, and Gonzaga is a team that gets a lot of love year in and year out.
But another perennial bedwetter, too.
Yeah, and they don't ever do anything in the tournament, it seems. And they make a lot of their reputation off of dominating inferior opponents. They play a couple. I think they have St. Mary's tonight. We never fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that they do. And that's always a tough one, although they put a whooping on them.
Killed them
But
last time.
they arguably have those three guys this year.
You can
front
just like
one-
a number of guys. I mean, you could say we'll leave Stockton because he's a backup, basically, like kind of like change of pace dude. But
Right. And he kind of gets overvalued with
Right.
the name. But headlined, you've got Olenek, who's this 6'10", 230 guy. I want to call him
Goofy
sort of.
looking dude.
He's kind of he's got long hair. He's kind of a finesse player. He was a redshirt last year, so he's a sophomore now, or redshirt coming in. He reminds me a lot of Brad Miller, just the way he plays. He's a guy that I guess you can make the Paul Gasol comparison to.
he's not as beefy as Brad Miller, but I get you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a guy that kind of shoots the same way, has that mid-range jumper, can kind of be facilitated into the offense. He's not entirely soft, but he's only getting you about 7 rebounds a game. Gonzaga's interesting too. And I was kind of scoping around on the internet earlier, and I thought this was interesting. He also is in some capacity involved with the drama program at Gonzaga, and Olenek, this is
Kelly Olynyk.
yeah, Kelly Olynyk, and he did some sort of production of Romeo and Juliet. 7-footer that did it, so interesting. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, I that team again. I mean, I say it, Kevin Pangos was really good last year. He's a point guard.
and granted, consider that Gonzaga should be close to the top 5 in ranking right now.
They are, but I mean, I don't. You know, they're not. But they're not number one. They're like a 3
No.
seed probably.
Right.
So you know, maybe this is the team. I mean, they got the 3 guys you can kind of trust. Elias Harris is another guy who's been really really good for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of was quietly under the shadow of Austin Day 3 years ago. And now kind of has
His own
his
team.
own little team. Yeah, so that's possible. I mean, you got to see how they go. As the season progresses. But that
I'd
fits
really
the
like to
formula,
see
too.
them bring Adam Morrison back, kind of in the drunken coach role. Think Hoosiers. You need some guy like that
Adam Morrison isn't even drunk. He's just homeless. He's just living in a box in Portland somewhere.
with a beautiful mustache.
Actually, he tried out for the Brooklyn Nets this summer.
I saw that.
That didn't work out.
I'm sure he cried after the tryout.
All right. No,
So
yeah.
we've hit a lot of college basketball, and we'd like to continue a little bit, but we're going to talk a little bit more on the individual players. And Brady and I, well, we like to get a little competitive sometimes, not always,
Yes.
but we're going to do a little pick 'em. We're going to be down at the park today, maybe at the Y, and we're going to draft some teams. So Brady, shoot for ball.
Well, we're actually shooting the ball.
Yeah,
All right. Well, Pete's
ball don't lie, Brady. We're going to do this proper. This is for the pick.
abnormally sweaty hands at this ball, soaking wet already. He laughs. It's true.
It is very true. Anybody?
Oh.
Break.
All right. Pete starts.
Okay. Well, we're gonna start off with college basketball. We're gonna
See, this
pick
is funny
teams.
though, because I'm not really worried about this. This is 6 guys playing a game, and you got to play to a certain point,
Mhm.
And take that into account. You're not trying to build a team that's going to win a championship. You're trying to play for one win. And my team, I'm not worried about Pete taking any of my guys.
So you just want one? All right. Let's. All right.
Then draft. Take
All
your
right,
pick.
let's
Pick.
go.
Who are you picking?
I'm gonna take
First overall pick in the Pete and Brady college
Ben?
basketball.
Ben. I'm not Macklemore.
What?
Macklemore.
All right. All right. That's a good pick. Why? Why do you take the freshman shooting guard?
Because he reminds me of Jesus Shuttlesworth, and I'm a big Jesus Shuttlesworth.
He's like, I read this somewhere. And
He's not as smooth, and you can't
No.
be. But
And
he's
I mean-
a guy that has some explosion, like young Ray Allen did, and he's a guy that can hit a
Stroke
high
it a little bit.
percentage. Yeah.
It's funny because that's what people used to compare. A lot of times we're comparing Bradley Beal to last year.
Well, people wanted to.
And I see a lot of Bradley Beal in
And
Macklemore. Only Macklemore is way more athletic.
And I was gonna say, if I were drafting today and they were both in the same draft, it'd be Macklemore would be my pick, 9 out of 10 times.
I believe, is Michael Carter Williams a freshman?
Yeah, he is point guard out of Syracuse.
Michael Carter Williams is my pick.
That's a good pick.
I'm taking a point guard first. He's averaging 9 assists as a freshman.
And he's 6'5", super athletic,
Yeah, and he's a little bit frail and he doesn't have the greatest shot, but he can make big shots and
and
He knows how to play.
He can slice.
right. And those 2 guys, at one point you could have argued that the Stauskas and Glenn Robinsons and Gary Harris's were kind of in the running for National Player of the Year, but they're not compared to these 2 guys.
No,
These guys are the top 2.
and I think you could make an argument that Michael Carter Williams could potentially be in the mix for freshman of the year. I think
No,
Macklemore.
but Macklemore and him are the 2, I think.
I think for a point there, it looked like Ben had kind of run away with it, but I think Michael Carter Williams is very much in it, especially if Syracuse can get on. And they're not out of the one picture yet.
No.
They could
I mean,
potentially
Kansas,
be
and
a one
Kansas,
seed.
if we're gonna talk about that, you have to penalize Macklemore for Kansas's recent fest.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, although like we talked about, they put a whooping on Kansas State.
right, yeah, but it doesn't
back at
excuse TCU.
But they, yeah,
That's the, you know that was the, you know that
that's the
according to-
biggest upset this year, maybe in a couple years.
No, it's the biggest upset statistically by Ken Pomeroy, who does like all that
right,
nerdy
all
stuff
that, right.
since he started tracking basketball in 1990.
It's a huge upset.
So that's pretty crazy. It was like number 4 and number 254. So yeah, all right. So I took Michael Carter Williams. Pete takes Bennett McLemore. You're up. So we got our guards. At least our primary guards are set. You got a shooter. I got a point guard.
I'm gonna take Mason Plumlee, and I
Okay.
know you hate the Plumlees. I don't know why he does. He hated Miles with a passion. I think you hate Mason.
I don't
probably
hate
even
Mason.
more.
I don't hate Mason because Mason's actually good at basketball. Miles is just like an athletic white guy.
And that's what they kind of came in as, is these athletic white guys that
What's
were
the
just kind of
what's the other brother's name again? I forget his name.
younger brother.
He doesn't play very much.
No,
He doesn't start with an M either. He's like Elijah. I don't know.
something like that.
Some weird Indiana name. Anyways.
Mason, though, is a guy that is probably in a three-way conversation, or at least towards the top, for Naismith Player of the Year.
Trey
As a-
Burke and others.
Yeah, there's a couple guys you could put in that position. But he's a guy that's 6'11", uber athletic. I don't want to really do this because this is not a fair comparison, but I kind of get a KG vibe from him just the way he plays. Kind of like a white KG. And the last guy that I did that to, that comparison, was a guy named Darko Milicic. So that's a little scary. But,
When you're 13 years old, you compared Darko Milicic to Kevin Garnett.
yes.
God, you make some weird, stupid decisions in your past.
I do. I really do. And I have the utmost respect for Kevin Garnett as a basketball player. But Mason Plumlee, 19 and 12-ish, probably one of the better big men in the country, and I love him on the playground because he's just athletic and he's going to throw down a couple highlight dunks for me. Mason Plumlee.
All right, so you got your big man. You put pressure on me to take a big man now.
We'll see.
I'm gonna
You know, I
take-
heard Nerlens Noel is still on the board.
Nerlens Noel we're excluding because he is kneeless. Doug McDermott, the
Ooh,
power
good
forward
pick.
from. See, I'm
Creighton.
I'm looking for some offense. Yeah,
Creighton.
I got Michael Carter Williams and I got Doug McDermott.
You want to know something? And this is a stretch. I don't think it'll be something that'll legitimately happen. But you could make an argument that Doug McDermott is that third guy on that Naismith list.
Right, yeah,
that we
because
talked about.
if Creighton gets back into the rankings, they lost a couple weeks ago, and they've kind of been in the others receiving category for a while. But yeah, I mean, if they pick up some heat here, they're definitely in the discussion for sure.
Yeah.
And he can shoot threes. He can do a lot of different stuff. He's not. I feel like he's probably more of a kind of, in terms of professionally, he's not going to be like a star, nor will he be even like a lottery pick. But he's a guy who can score.
How about
He might put up points for a bad team.
yeah, I think he could. I think he's sort of a hybrid between Jimmer and kid that came out of Butler a couple years ago.
Matt Howard
No.
or Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward.
But he's a post guy though. He's a
Yeah,
big
Gordon,
man.
but Gordon could shoot and play like that a little
I
bit.
bet
too.
he's more like, and I could see like Gordon Hayward and Matt Howard mixed together into one player.
That's what I'm kind of going for.
Not that the Jimmer thing is just that don't compare him to Jimmer. Jimmer sucks.
But I'm just kind of a guy that can be that light up scorer for you. That was my only.
Oh yeah, I mean
That
he
was
can
my
he
only
can
thing.
heat it up. So he's every mid major white guy ever combined with Adam Morrison.
I know why. That was
Adam
not,
Morrison.
No,
you racially
no,
profiled Doug
no,
McDermott.
no. I was talking about game components.
Sure.
Hey,
All right, so I got Doug McDermott, Michael Carter Williams. You've got
Macklemore and Mason Plumlee.
all right.
My third pick is going to be a guy that I think could just kind of control the show for me, and that's going to be Trey Burke.
Okay.
So we're going to have him
I
in
figured
there.
you were gonna take him. I was just making sure.
You knew I was going to take him?
I figured you were. All right, well, then you're taking him. I'm going to take a guard. Well, I'm going to play at forward, but he's going to guard Trey Burke the entire game. And then he'll switch off and guard Ben McLemore. And then he'll go and score some points. And his name will be Oladipo. And
All
Dick
right.
Vitale, and
That's a
Dick
good
Vitale, and Dickie V will compare him to Michael Jordan.
pick. Yes, he
Only
will.
not as good. He's Michael Jordan, but not as good. That's exactly how he said it during the Michigan game.
I mean, Oladipo's been phenomenal this year.
he's a good player. I mean, he can
He's
play.
a guy, like you said, that can play some really lockdown D. And
All these pretty girls are walking around waving to Pete with his sunglasses on. Why? Don't they know the rules? You can't wear only badasses wear sunglasses inside, I guess.
yeah, that's
What is
true.
it? What
That's
is it?
true.
What is it? The sun never sets on a badass. That's how the phrase goes.
Thank you, Brady. That's
Peter,
that's
pick.
true. That's proven. Whew, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here.
So you've got right now. Who is your roster right now?
Ben McLemore, Mason Plumlee, Trey Burke, and let's see how I could play a whole bunch of different ways, couldn't I? I don't really have 3, do I? Oladipo was a good pick. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, 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 dun,
All right, I got
dun.
who I'm gonna go with on you. I think I could have gone a couple different ways on this, but we're gonna run with it. We're gonna go Deshaun Thomas.
Fill it up.
Yep.
Lefty that can fill it up. So
Yep.
you're going. So you got. So name your roster for me, just so I can keep up.
Ben McLemore, Mason Plumlee, Trey Burke, and Deshaun Thomas.
You're going with the guys who have the pro potential right now with some of yours. I'm sticking with some guys who.
Who are just playing good college
All right,
ball.
so I'm taking. So you got. So name it one more. So your center is who again?
I haven't decided yet.
Who's your forward? Who's your power forward though?
Probably Plumlee.
Plumlee. Yeah, Plumlee, and you got Thomas. Oh, I need someone to control the paint, right? Someone who can block some shots.
I
play
don't
some
know, Brady.
defense.
I'm not giving you nothing.
speaking
You
aloud.
pick your team.
I
punk.
need someone who can play some defense, block a shot or two. Man, score when they need to.
Nerlens Noel. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna take Jeff Withy.
Great
gonna block
for
4 shots.
Kansas.
He's gonna block 4 shots, grab 9 rebounds, and
No,
score 9
we've
points.
given Macklemore some love. I think, and it's easy to see he's an explosive player.
Withy is he's like the exact same player as Cole Aldridge. They're the
Yeah.
same guy. Only Withy's
Now he's
got.
being racist. No, but Whitty has been really great, and Whitty has been probably the better player on Kansas for most of the season.
Most consistent for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a good pick. And my last one to finish it off.
We got 2 more. You got a bench guy too.
Oh yeah, well my last starter then
Sanders.
is a guy that we talked about earlier in the show. He's not getting a lot of love, and he's not going to be on a whole lot of first teams. But I'm gonna go Reggie Johnson.
Ooh, big boy.
I'm gonna give you some meat.
You got some meat down there. That's right. All right. I got. Well, then I guess I'm gonna round up my 5 by going with. So we talked about Jim Wright, guys who can just straight fill it up.
Oh, you're gonna take CJ, aren't you?
See, he's hurt. I don't want a guy who's hurt.
Okay.
We got to play tomorrow. CJ McCollum's arm's
Okay,
broken.
we're running tomorrow.
I'm taking Nate Walters. You know who Nate Walters is?
I do.
South Dakota State.
Yeah.
3rd place in the Summit League right now. Nate Walters.
That is that's a deep pick.
He
That's
dropped.
good for
He
you.
dropped 49 points the other day, I think, or was it 53? One of those two. It was between. I was really stuck between him and another guy. I'm not gonna. Pete can pick his guy. Then I'll tell you who else I was gonna pick. I don't want to give Pete my other sleeper.
You can go ahead.
No, you got to draft. It's your turn, buddy.
Okay. Well, my
Who's your 6
six man.
man?
If CJ McCollum wasn't hurt, I think that would have been something I would consider. I'm trying to think here because Cody Zeller's still on the table and is a guy that I could really just pound away at you with.
Yeah, but,
And
I mean,
he's teasing me.
but is Cody Zeller gonna be up? It's Cody Zeller's gonna power to make him a 6 man.
Yeah. So I guess I need a little bit more firepower, and there's a couple guys that come to mind, but I got 2 that I'm thinking of, and I think I'm gonna hit you with a little Jamal Franklin, San Diego State.
That's a good pick. He's good. He's good. He can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, I like just the versatility from him as my 6 man, and I don't watch a whole lot of San Diego State,
I've seen him a couple times.
but
They've been
I've
on
watched
late-
them, and
They're on late at night. I like to. That's kind of the cool thing about the those Mountain West teams. All right. Well, my last one. I need a guy. I mean, if you look at my team right now, the one thing it sort of lacks, it's got.
You
know,
got some scoring power, and
I
you
got
got
some scores, but I don't. That's very unathletic.
Michael Carter Williams is an athlete.
But then.
Oladipo can move around fine,
Nate
but he's more
Walters-
of a strong
Walters,
guy.
McDermott, Withy are the stereotypical stiff white guy.
Right.
Andre Roberson, power forward from Colorado. Dude's just long.
Was that your other guy that you were?
That was no. My other guy was Travis Bader from Oakland.
That's actually not bad.
Travis Bader hit 13 threes or something this year in a game.
Yeah.
I swear to God, he just makes threes. That's all. I mean, he would just stand in the corner the whole time. He wouldn't.
That's a good. You know what? I'll give you credit on those last 3. All 3 of those were really good
But
picks.
Bader's the 5th leading scorer in the nation. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that until today when I was looking. But I knew
Did you do that earlier when we were at the lab?
I was just kind of looking to see what Nate Walters' stats were, and I was like, holy, because he's kind of a good assist guy too. But I don't know. That's funny though. Yeah, that he is that great of a scorer because Oakland's had some guys come through there that have been
I mean,
scorers.
Kangas was a guy that was in the 3-point competition. I actually used to play ball with Kangas. He used to come down and hoop with us at
Yeah.
like the car wash and stuff. I've never personally ever seen a guy with a better form shot or could hit like him. It was incredible. He
But
would
there's-
just not miss.
Then there was Reggie Hamilton was good there for a
Yeah.
couple of years.
Do you remember
Keith Benson.
Rawls Marshall?
Oh yeah, Rob. That was from the, what
He went to
what was
Indiana.
what was special about that Oakland team?
They went to the first tournament that they ever went to, and they got killed by the 2004 Tar Heels. They played them. They were the 16 seed to their 1
Oh no,
seed.
but they had a crazy play-in game.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, yeah.
And Ron Marshall had this monster dunk. Just monster dunk in that game, and it was everywhere.
I do remember that. Yeah, I know because he was a good blocker, shot blocker too.
Yeah, he's just lean. He was like 6'7", 6'8", just a
You know who else
typical
is
athlete slasher.
You know who else is a good Michigan-based?
And then Benson, last year.
Benson, he's still floating around the pro
Yeah.
league somewhere, not in the NBA, but maybe the D League or something. I haven't checked in a while, but
Kiki.
Keto,
Keto.
real Tito. That's his Twitter account. I don't
That's
know why
right.
I follow him still. Brad Redford at Xavier. That dude can shoot. He's from.
Oh, yeah. That's a good pick.
Oh my God, where's he from? I can't think. Where's the big Christmas store at?
Oh, Bonner's. That's Frankenmuth.
Frankenmuth. That's where he's from. Yeah.
He was Mr. Basketball.
Oh, yeah. He's
Over-
the kid that can shoot lights out. Yeah.
Who was he Mr. Basketball over? Was it Draymond?
Would have been at the time?
Yeah, it was because that Redford's missed like 2 years.
Yeah,
of knee
because it was
injuries.
Saginaw for.
He's tore his
Yeah.
knee up twice. So he's missed 2 years. He's a
But yeah,
senior
he
now.
can shoot lights out, and he has like
Right.
35-foot range.
Oh yeah, dude, that epic game when Kansas State had Jacob
I forgot
Pullen,
about him. Yeah.
and then Xavier had Jordan Crawford and stuff. And they just went back and forth. It was just Redford was hitting
Yeah.
threes too. Yeah, so that's another random white guy in college basketball for you from Brady and Pete.
Okay, so we've assembled our college teams. We've got on Team Pete, we got Ben McLemore starting, Trey Burke in the backcourt. We've got Deshaun Thomas at 3. We've got Mason Plumlee at 4
We're
and
playing
Reggie.
make it take it or not. Not that matters. People are asking though.
Yeah,
So we're playing make it take it.
sure.
All right, Nathan Harvey, you got yours. We're playing with the present.
Reggie Johnson and then Jamal Franklin is my 6th man. Brady has Michael Carter Williams coming in. Probably Oladipo being his backcourt. McDermott maybe.
No, all Depot's my small forward.
Okay, so McDermott's your 2. Oladipo.
No, McDermott's my 4.
All right, so who do you want? Is
Nate
Walters
Walters.
going to be your 2? Okay, Walters is your 2.
Oladipo,
3.
McDermott, Withy,
Okay.
with
Cool.
Roberson off the bench.
All right. The teams have been assembled. Do you post them?
Oh yeah, I'll post them right now.
We'll post them and we'll get you guys a look at that. And we want maybe we can even work in a poll here. We'll get it figured out here. Who has the team here? Also, any players that, and if you were picking a team that stand out to you, guys that you think could be in conversation for maybe Freshman of the Year, Naismith Player of the Year, we'd love to hear your opinions. Red Bull Hotline is on and cooking. We've got our on-air sign up and cooking as well. Electrics just everywhere. We haven't started a fire yet, but don't count on anything with Brady here. While we're waiting for Daryl to come and beat Brady in, I'll give you the number, 616-331-2875.
We'll take a break here real quick. We'll regroup. We'll do the NBA version of this. Post on Facebook. Who would your 5-man group in the NBA be? Don't be one of those guys who picks.
You know those guys.
Don't be Daryl and pick Steve Nash, Kobe Bryant, Blake Griffin.
What?
Shaquille
Daryl's
O'Neal.
gonna kill you. Daryl will just pick the Heat.
Yeah,
That's all it would be.
Don't be Daryl.
DBD.
I am the boss, Brady and Pete.
We'll be back at the break.
Yes,
our Doobie Brothers here on Eye on the Ball. We play them usually about once every other show. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You know how the Doobie Brothers got their start? I always got a kick out of this.
Doobies?
Well, that, of course. But they were actually a band that played at a little hot bar that the Hells Angels used to frequent. And the Hells Angels really, really liked the Doobie Brothers. And that's how they got popular.
Really?
Mhm.
That's interesting.
There you go. Fact of the day.
That. I like that, though. The history. Pete Barrows,
I've been
Doobie Brothers
around,
historian.
you know? I've seen things, Brady.
I don't want to see those things either. Anyways, so now we're gonna do the NBA version of what we just did. Post on the Facebook page. We've already got one taker. Nathan Harvey does the college picks by going Victor Oladipo, Deshaun Thomas, Derek Nix, Mason Plum. Or is it Miles or Mason? We're talking about Mason.
Yeah.
Mason Plumlee.
I mean, I guess you can pull Miles in.
And Peyton Siva.
He's not doing anything more
He's
important.
not doing anything.
Yeah,
And
sitting on
then
the bench.
he has an NBA one.
That's a very Midwestern pick there.
That is. That's a very, yeah. I mean, Louisville is about as far south as he's going to go.
Right.
But I'll get to his NBA one here in a sec. But
Yeah, we'll do that after
we're
get
going to shoot for ball again. This is Pete and I. As you can see, I'm
Guaranteed Brady's going to break this again.
going to break
Watch.
it. It's hard to shoot with a
Yeah.
mic in your face. Oh, I made it still. I get first pick.
What a bum. Oh, I wonder
All right.
who he's going to take.
So listen, I said...
Get clever here. You know what? Be cute. Please be cute with it.
I said don't be Daryl in terms of Daryl likes the Heat.
Who are you
But
going to
don't-
pick?
But
Who?
no, listen. You can pick one superstar and not be. You pick two, but don't pick a team of five. Like,
I mean,
sorry, Nate, but Durant, Melo, LeBron, Tony Parker, props, Dwight Howard.
yeah,
So
Tony
I'm
Parker's a
gonna take
good
LeBron
pick.
James, and you can take whoever you want after that.
Surprise, surprise. I mean,
Who would you take?
that's right. No,
Okay,
That's what I was.
We can
That's
take,
what I'm.
we can take Austin Day.
What I was saying when I said who else are you gonna take? There's literally no
Durant,
other
maybe.
choice.
That's Durant, maybe that's
And
that's
Durant,
LeBron James.
obviously Durant's who
Okay, so
I'm gonna
LeBron.
start off. Obviously Durant is who I start off with.
Okay, so
Then.
you take Durant. Then now we're back to me.
And now you can do a whole bunch of different things.
We're playing just one game, right?
However you want to
One
hypothesize.
game. We're playing one game to 21.
I mean, we could run it back. You never know.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking that I'm gonna take.
Taking it to the streets. Taking it to the streets. Da, 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 da.
Kevin Love.
Oh, you are a son of a gun. You know that?
Yeah, I am.
Do you know how much of a man crush I have on Kevin Love?
I know you have a lot of a man crush on Kevin Love.
I
I'm
do.
Sorry.
He's my favorite player to watch in the NBA.
That's a good Lakers pick and pop though. LeBron James
Did you
and Kevin
see
Love.
Uncle Drew? And
I haven't seen it yet, but I have to see it. I know.
it's great. Kevin Love with it is.
What's
is
his name in
phenomenal.
it, Dan?
Oh
Kevin
God.
Drew Love or something, or
No,
Kevin Drew?
no. It's Austin and I were talking
Yeah,
about.
I saw it on the
it
face.
today.
I'll
It's-
make your pick. I'll
I
look
will.
for it.
It's gonna drive me nuts. It's West, cause it's like the outlet. You know,
West Love, yeah.
West Love. Cause are you familiar with Wes Unseld?
Yeah.
Probably the greatest outlet passer there's ever been.
No,
Well,
Kevin
Kevin
Love's
Love has an affinity for the outlet pass. Very good passer for big dude. So West Love.
Okay, so so I'm at
That
Kevin
really,
Love and LeBron James. You're at Kevin
That
Durant.
really stirs my grits, man. I don't
Grits
like-
are gross.
Yeah. Well, you just haven't had good ones.
I've had cheese grits at roast too.
All right. Well, shucks. I'm gonna stick with the superstar thing just for now, just because I've always been a big fan, and I really think that point guard play is more integral now, especially on the streets. Got to be Chris Paul.
Okay.
Just a guy that I can get a little flair from. I know he can put in buckets. I could have gone Kyrie too, and that's maybe even Brandon Jennings, but we'll leave them on the table.
Kyrie.
Yeah, I mean Kyrie's
Kyrie's not a superstar by any means, but he's a really good
I
young
think
player.
he could be, and he's a guy that
Could be, but
street player wise is very. I mean, we got his
Uncle
resume,
Drew, obviously.
You
I got West Love and Uncle Drew. I'm gonna win.
and you got LeBron when he was playing like an old man on there. Yeah, you've got the all commercial team right now. There's no doubt.
I mean, I have a good base. I still got to find 2 more guys though. So
Yeah. Well, here's where we kind of get.
I got my next 2 picks already planned out, buddy. I'm good. I'm good.
I kind of hate myself for this pick, but I don't want you to bust on me too much. But you know what? I'm gonna hit you with a little one, and I don't think you're ready for it. I would have much preferred to have gone this route with Kevin Love, but I'm gonna take DeMarcus Cousins.
Okay. I see where you at. I'm talking to my street ball voice now. I see you. Andre Drummond.
See, Drummond
I need someone who's gonna block shots, rebound, and
and just
dunk
run
the ball.
the court like
Just
a
run up and
crazy
down,
man.
yep.
Yeah.
He'll work. I mean, Kevin Love can do all the rebounding too, but Andre
See,
Drummond
I almost considered Moose just because I think having
he would not be a fun street ball player.
No, it would not be a fun street ball player, but he'd be like the guy at the YMCA who would just drive you nuts because he would just drop that mid range over you all day and be passing. He'd be because you could put a guy like Greg Monroe in a street ball situation and run your team through him, kind of like Chris Webber back in the day. But yeah, we'll go with that. So we get down to 3 more picks to go here, huh?
So I got Andre Drummond, LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving.
And
Pete
Andre Drummond would have been Dwight Howard had we been doing this last year.
And Pete has
I have Chris Paul, Kevin Durant. And you know what? I got to do it. I know this is exactly what we talked about not doing, but it's Kobe. I want to have a guy that has the killer.
that hurts. That makes my next pick really tough because I totally can't pick the guy I was gonna pick. So I'm gonna go back to the superstar thing then, since you picked Kobe.
Because I feel like I'm outgunned a little bit right now, and
Do you feel outgunned? Good. So
because you have 2 guys that can take me to the hole one guy that can do whatever he wants on the court. I think I got you with Chris Paul, decent little bit there, but
okay, here we go. I need some defense. I mean, LeBron's a good defender, but LeBron's got to guard Durant.
and
Chris
Drummond
Paul
could be a
and
good shot
Irving,
blocker,
yeah.
but
He's
he's not there yet.
He is a good shot blocker, but he's not a good defender yet. Kevin Love's not a good defender. I'm gonna go with Andre Iguodala to match up
The
with Kobe.
best perimeter defender in the league today.
Iguodala's just gonna lock you up.
Did
Slow
we
down
talk?
Kobe.
Was it you and I that talked about Iguodala the other day? Or maybe it was Austin and I. He wasn't too high on Iggy, but I think Iggy's a guy.
I'm gonna post that article I found of him. There's a blog that Matt Moore wrote from CBS Sports, and he did something. And you can
he's
watch-
not a superstar. But
There's a lot of little video clips of him just explaining how he defends LeBron, how he defends Dwayne Wade.
And he's always been super athletic, a classic cutter. But he's a guy that, in Denver, has been very good. I don't know if you guys have updated. You guys did update it the other day. Power rankings. Brady and Kieran, one of our listeners, longtime listeners. I think he only listens when Brady's on the show. But one of our favorite listeners, him and Brady did a box scoring article where they've been every week updating the top 10 power rankings in the NBA. So if you haven't, check them out. They're really well done. Gives you kind of an idea of where everybody stacks out. I think you guys had them 4, Denver, that is.
Denver was up. They've won 9 of their last 10. Yeah.
Yeah, so Denver's been probably one of the highest teams in the NBA. Good pick there by Brady. And that's his starting 5.
Yeah. So now who's your bench guy?
Well, no, I have to pick
your
mine.
starting guy. I'm sorry.
Because you
Sorry, I
hit
picked
you
first.
hit your shot, man.
I forgot.
You're getting ahead of yourself. So let me see. I got my 3 shooter guard players, and I've got my big dude. And this is where it starts getting kind of tricky, because you have to kind of differentiate between the street ball component of it and the actual basketball component. But you know what I'm going to hit you with? Just because I think you have your Drummond, and I got to throw it in there, because it's Blake Griffin. And
God, you did what I told you not to do. You picked 5 superstars of your 6.
DeMarcus Cousins not a superstar.
5 of 6 though.
All right, well, what did
All right,
you do?
All right, fine. Keep Blake Griffin. I'm taking JJ Redick because I want a shooter.
Okay, that's fine.
So I picked the
See,
very
Blake
solid
Griffin,
player.
and the rationale here, last year I wouldn't have picked him because he used to drive me nuts. Has this talent to handle the ball, has this talent to shoot, has the physicality to play defense and give you some rebounding, and was the classic revolving door. He just open on hinges to guys. I'm not saying that he wasn't a hustler, but he just didn't have any of those components. He didn't put to good use.
No, yeah,
and he still has more to grow on with that. But this year he's been a 10 rebound guy.
There was a time. I mean, there was a point when me and you were saying that we would take Greg Monroe basketball wise over him. That's not the case anymore.
And Kevin Love, I still think I would give Kevin Love the title of best power forward over Blake Griffin, even though athlete wise they're not even a comparison. But I like the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, Oop City thing. So we'll roll with that.
Who was your power forward again?
It would be Blake now.
But who was the? Oh, you okay? So that's your 5 right
and
there.
DeMarcus Cousins would be playing my 5 in
All
this
right,
case.
so then my 6 man is. Oh, that's your 5. I guess I can.
And you want to know something? If stuff goes down, DeMarcus is gonna lay some whooping, man. He's
Andre's gonna bongo his face.
Yeah, that's
All right, pick your sixth man. Mine's
Okay.
Reddick.
Oh yeah, you already picked Reddick.
So be modest with your sixth man now.
Okay.
Think of who's any pretty pissed off and make him a sixth man. Kobe Bryant, your sixth man, doesn't work out.
Yeah. I mean, usually you want a utility guy. I think Iguodala would have been a really nice pick there. But you want to know someone that I think would be good? How about Paul George?
Yeah, that works.
Paul George is a guy that will be in the 3-point competition this weekend. Is a guy that has this
Could be in
Indiana.
a dunk contest even.
Yeah, it could be. He's not, but he could be. He's a guy that filled in for Danny Granger, who's not played at all this year, and has Indiana the third best team in the East, and could potentially, work into that. Boston's been
Right.
playing really well without Rondo, surprisingly. But I think he's a guy that has nothing but upsides, a good one-on-one player, and he's not a bad defender. He's not a great defender, but he's not bad.
No, I mean he's just a
He's
good
kind
player.
of like Iguodala in that he's an athlete, but he can shoot better.
I could
And
see
he's
that.
he's not the perimeter defender that Iggy is either. Anyways, decent teams. And I like the JJ Redick pick. Let me ask you this: I've always liked JJ. I think anybody that grew up in our area or era liked JJ.
Nope, I didn't.
You don't like him?
I like him now.
Well,
I
you
didn't
can
like
respect
him,
him as a
No, I
player
respect
that
him now.
because you just had that phenomenal shot. Always very
All he
pure.
could do though was just shoot back then. Now like him. Now he's good. Now he's like an all-around player. I like that.
And that points and he plays defense. Is this a guy that you could see at some point taking control of a team and running point as a starting
No.
player?
No, he's like he can. He's still a shooting guard. I mean,
'Cause
he's still, even when he's doing well now, he still does it next to Jameer Nelson, who's still a pretty good point guard in his own.
Right.
But I mean, I would throw.
Well, what I'm saying is, I think
he's
is it this year or next year? Isn't he
a
coming
free
up?
agent now.
Yeah,
This year.
that's what I thought. Anyways, I think if I was really in a pinch and I wanted to try something different at point, I would maybe consider giving him a run. Maybe.
I wouldn't play him a point guard. He's not athletic enough or fast enough to guard anyone playing point guard.
That's the thing, and we've got to this point where you have to be. We've got this Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook, Rajon Rondo, stereotype now for point guard. Even Kyrie Irving and guys like Brandon Jennings fit into that to an extent. But that's not how it used to be. You didn't used to have to be a great athlete
Mark
to be a
Jackson.
really good point.
It's the prime example.
Sure. I mean, and John Stockton is actually a better athlete than people give him credit for. All-time leader in NBA steals. But he's a guy that played with his head. Chris Paul, good athlete, not a great athlete. Darren Williams, a very strong athlete, but he's not a guy that's, uber quick
Overly.
like the John Walls. I don't know. I don't know that it has to be requisite. The NBA has changed, but I don't know.
But it's more of a speed position now than it was,
Back in the day.
8 years ago.
I think it still can be done, though.
Maybe it depends on who you give us. Depends on who you pair
Anyways,
him
we
with.
got our teams up. We'd like to hear you sound off on them, too.
Go with let me hear NCAA one. I didn't get it down. I couldn't think of your front court.
Oh, yeah. It's it's Trey Burke,
McLemore, Plumlee.
or Thomas Plumlee, and then Reggie Johnson and Jamal Franklin.
All right, those are up.
And you feeling like you want to go one more round? Because I got one more for you if you want to go.
NBA or NCAA?
NBA. We could do either, but I was gonna
Let's
say
just do one more NBA. That's fine.
no. I'm saying let's do historical. We can do
Oh.
college or NBA, but
All right, we'll do.
or we could just do like a free for all. Just pick any players from any level that you ever wanted to do.
No. All right, let's see. All right, yes, that anything. Go.
Okay, I got first
You
pick.
get first pick. Go ahead and take him.
Okay. Well, you know who I'm wearing right now, and we'll
Pistol. Pete.
Yeah.
Maravich.
Pistol Pete Maravich is going to be my top pick. And Pistol Pete, if you guys don't know, been my profile picture for years. But Pistol Pete is a guy that is kind of a tortured soul, really interesting guy. Didn't play a lick of defense ever in his
Really
entire
wasn't
career.
that good in the NBA.
He was good.
not like-
I think he could have been great, or was great in a lot of ways. But he's very ahead of his time. Probably one of the best ball handlers and passers the game has ever seen. One of the better shooters. Would perennially
Didn't have a 3-point line. Didn't have to until
yeah,
last
he
year.
averaged 44 points in college, which will never be done without a 3-point line, as Brady said, without playing as a freshman because it wasn't allowed at the time. It's just so far ahead of his time and all of that. I think he'd be a really fun player, though.
No, that's true. I could definitely. I mean, I could roll with that. I mean, I'm gonna take
So, Brady, you go ahead. You take him.
Magic Johnson.
Oh, great. That's a great pick.
Are we gonna eliminate him from being him and him? Or is him not gonna get picked? He who shall not be named.
We'll see.
Let's just vow not to pick him because it would just be
Okay.
dumb. Okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
You can assume who him is. And if you don't, you just I don't know. You're just not with
that's
us.
a conversation.
All
for
right.
another-
So I took Magic.
You took Magic. Well, I mean, I
I'm
don't
gonna
really
match
have a
my big
choice.
point guard against your little guard, whatever you want to call him.
6'4". Got some handles. I think that'd be fun.
6'8", got some handles. Can't shoot a lick.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah,
Larry Legend.
Okay.
Because if you have Magic, I gotta have Larry Legend because that would only be fun.
Okay.
Okay. Larry Legend is a guy that crappy knees, couldn't move around well, but just had this sixth sense of basketball. Not as good of a handler or as smooth as Magic, couldn't pass like Magic, but he always knew where everybody was, always knew where the cutter was. And there's stories where Larry would tell people the move he was going to make on you before he would do it and still do it. Indefensible is great.
That is pretty awesome. I'm gonna take a different route here. So I took Magic Johnson, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take Patrick Ewing.
Really? Interesting.
I like Patrick Ewing.
But not Patrick Ewing.
Can D up a little bit. Yeah, likes to eat Snickers. I mean, Patrick Ewing's good. Patrick
Well,
Ewing's
that's
just,
what he was
he
great.
can just do everything. I mean, and he can shoot the jumper. He can do a lot of different things. And
I mean, maybe outside of Dave DeBusschere, the greatest Nick of all time.
yeah, and he's very underrated in that regard too. So
Yeah. You've kind of inspired me. I'm going to stick with my original.
I wouldn't go Dave DeBusschere as best Nick ever, by the way.
No, probably not. I was a joke.
Clyde Frazier, Walt, Crazy Suit Clyde Frazier.
Yes.
Anyways, or Willis Reed. So I took Patrick. You took.
And you've inspired me
Larry.
on one, but I'm gonna stick with it. And this is a classic debate, another Laker Celtic debate. And I don't know which way to go, but I'm gonna go Wilt just because he's such a freak. You could the one I'm alluding to is the Bill Wilt discussion. For me, Bill had that extra something. He was playing for the perfect team for his abilities. Bill Russell. He always had guys that fit in to him perfectly. Wilt had some really good teams, but not to that extent. But for me, you put Wilt and Bill Russell on the court together, and just pure talent, who's going to do it? It's Wilt.
Right.
And no disrespect to Bill, because I love Bill. And I have the utmost respect for everything he did in his career, but Wilt Chamberlain's going to be on my team today.
So we're talking about fun, right? Obviously, with Pete Maravich winning first overall. My center, and I'm playing Patrick at power forward, right?
Okay.
My center is going to shoot threes.
Ooh, are we getting... Oh, I guess you could do
He's going to shoot threes.
Bob McAdoo?
He's foreign.
Oh, Dirk?
He's closer to looking like Bob McAdoo while being foreign.
I really hope it's Manute Bol.
Manute Bol.
You won some with that. Oh my god. I love me some Manute Bol. Get him
Manute
in
Bol's
here.
gonna go out there and play, and just block everyone's shot. That's all he's gonna do.
I mean, I guess
Prolifically.
Dikembe would have been the guy to pick with that.
I thought about going to Dikembe, and I was gonna go to Dikembe, Alonzo, Patrick, but I decided.
You know,
against
that's
that.
fun. Manute Bol, sadly, is no longer with us. 7'8". Some people say he's the second. I always give him the distinction of being the first or the tallest player in NBA history. You could also make a case for Jorge Musaran.
George.
Yeah. I guess one thing I'd like to emphasize while we're talking Manute Bol, one of the classiest guys, came from the Sudan, always gave back.
Luol Deng's childhood hero.
Yeah. Luol Deng's another cool guy from the UK, but does a lot of
Sudan.
cool things. Yeah, from Sudan originally, and then Dikembe Mutombo is a guy that does a lot of things, and he saved our world. Yeah, I don't know if you saw any of this or played any of that. It was so much
Yes.
fun. I'm gonna hit you one with another one of my guys that I've always really enjoyed. Let's see, who do I got? And a guy that I think you could make an argument for has a counterpart that's a little bit better, but I'm gonna give you Elgin Baylor. I think he's a guy that probably, had he not gone off and served, and he played phenomenal while he was an MP
Right.
during the war. I think he averaged over 30 points that year. But a guy that's phenomenal rebounder for his size. I think you could make an argument that Oscar Robertson should go over him, but I've always been kind of partial to Elgin Baylor, and so I'm going to roll with Elgin.
I'm going to. So you got. What's your roster look like right
Let me
now?
see. I've got Pistol Pete,
Yeah, write it down for me.
Pistol, Elgin.
Larry and Wilt.
Larry and Wilt.
Okay, and mine is Magic, Patrick, Ewing,
Right.
Manute Ball. That's it. No.
You're up now.
How do you have 4 though? I have 3.
You have
Okay,
3.
you're right. Okay.
24.
Yeah, 24.
He's been in the league, what, 2 more years?
Yeah, he's hurt for basically 2 of them. But the skill set Stafford has and the attitude he has, I think, really put him in that position where he could be. I'm not saying it's guaranteed bona fide he will be, but I think that there's a lot of upside for him to be in that position. But continue, though. Who's
My
your
thing-
4th?
Well, my thing about that is, and you look at this group of quarterbacks, you got Colin Kaepernick.
Who could be there? You've got Cam Newton, who
Cam
could be
Newton.
there.
This is the thing. I'm gonna clump. I know Andrew Luck has a running threat. You know, I'm gonna excuse him from this like discussion though because he's gonna be the best quarterback in 8 years. I think.
I think he could be.
So
He was a
believe-
guy that I could have picked. I just let my Lions love
Right.
reign over.
So then I'll leave you with Kaepernick, RG3, and Wilson. Those 3. I mean, right now everybody, you can be, oh great, this is awesome. These guys are good. As rookies or in their first years, if you don't really
Well,
playing.
they have to sustain it.
But yeah, I mean, you can't assume.
So same
that-
with throw Kaepernick in there too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Kaepernick's there too. I mean, all these guys, these pistol-based quarterbacks, NFL defenses aren't stupid. They figure stuff out really quick.
The thing is, if the pistols run right, if it's run correctly, there's not really a stop for it. They'll figure something out.
But still, that's gonna force these guys to become better in other aspects.
And they are, and that's the difference. That's
Right.
why they've been able to be successful. The thing that makes Kaepernick and Russell Wilson and Robert Griffin III, what has made them successful so far this year, is that they're accurate when they've been forced to throw. They're good quarterbacks that just have this extra element, and that's the difference. That's the distinction. You're right, though. Maybe that gets figured out. Maybe we see that fade. But I think projecting off of what I know right now and what I've seen, I think that's going to be here to stay.
Right, but I mean, it's going to be different. Definitely going to be not as prolific and explosive as it is right now. I don't think it's ever going.
I just look at where the game's going, rules wise, and just how it's played and how players are getting prepared and developed.
Right.
I see all of that indicating that this is going to stick around. Could be wrong. We'll see.
Right,
8 years down the line.
That's true.
We'll
All right.
have our reunion show 8 years from now, and we'll talk about it.
Well, for some reason, I'm going to go with Joe Flacco because
I like Joe.
he's always been good, and I mean, you could argue Matt Ryan too, but I've got.
He's never too high. He's never too low.
We've discussed my things about Matt Ryan before, and that's
He just hasn't been able to get over the hump.
But like Joe Flacco has always been never really. People bagged on him for years for being the guy who was a choker and a loser and stuff. And
But he was always in the playoffs.
He
and
never blew any games. It wasn't his fault any time.
No.
So I mean,
Skill set wise, he's got everything. He's got size. He showed you how athletic he was in the Super Bowl. He evaded, not like Fran Tarkenton evade, but he
like getting out of the
Ben
way.
Roethlisberger evade. Yeah,
Right.
And he's got a cannon. He's top 3 strongest arms in the league, if not the strongest. Yeah, good pick. So
I have Aaron Rodgers 3 because I just don't think that guys who are as good as he is now.
Aaron Rodgers is probably the best player in the league today at any position.
Barring an injury, he's not going to be any. He's only going to get better in terms of like the mental.
I agree, and it's like I said. I think it's moving towards players like him having even longer, more prolific careers.
Right. So I could see him. I have him and Robert Griffin. And I don't feel great about that one.
Could be.
But yeah, I mean, if he.
But you like him out of the best out of that crew, out of the Kaepernick, Russell.
Yeah, that
Cam.
Cam group. Yeah, I do. I just always have liked him. He's accurate. He can move. He's a leader. He comes. He's injury prone. We can say that, but he'll get smarter about how he plays. I think he's one of those guys who's not going to be stubborn about. He knows his limitations, and maybe hurting his knee again is like a blessing in disguise. Because
That's what they always say when a guy gets hurt. They said that when Mike Vick busted up his fibula. They said, "Oh, this will be the thing that really hits brain for
Michael
him."
Vick and I don't like comparing Michael Vick and.
Why? Because Michael Vick was physically more talented than any of those guys, and I'm talking
I'm talking in the brain though. Michael Vick up here.
Maybe not.
I don't think Michael Vick up here is as much as Robert Griffin right now.
Maybe not. I thought Mike Vick always had a lot of things going. I think he had one of the fastest releases I've ever seen, one of the biggest arms. Certainly athletic. I think Mike Vick had all of those things. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Right, and then I have Andrew Luck number 1 because I like Andrew Luck.
This has got me thinking. We've both done our list, and I think you did a good job with it. I think I have some good names on there. But I got a couple other guys just for fun to chew on. Maybe out of the league in 8 years, but maybe really good. Jake Locker is a kid that
Maybe.
I really like.
I've
He's
always
kind of
liked
out that athletic cut too, so maybe he gets banged up too much and can't do the same things. But I like him in the modern NFL. I don't like the Tennessee Titans, but maybe Sam Bradford is a guy that we've been really quick to just throw the book at and say you're done.
But then we were really quick when he's a rookie to say, "Oh, this guy's gonna be great."
Yeah, so maybe there's some middle ground. I like
Right.
the opportunity that the Rams have. They've stockpiled picks. They've got Jeff Fisher in as the coach. Of course, they got the greatest receiver that has ever played the position in Titus Young. So they're really excited to move forward. Seriously though, I think the Rams could be good, and I think Sam Bradford could be a part of that. And then this is more the speculative stuff. I don't really know too far down the line as far as quarterbacks coming in. I know Bridgewater will be a big pick when he comes in. Driscoll, Mariota could be guys that maybe making the NFL. Barkley's a guy. I'm not picking any of those guys in the top 5, but maybe those are guys to watch out for. I got one that I think is fun, though. He doesn't graduate from high school until 2015, but the prodigy, David Stills, who committed to USC at the age of 13.
Oh God.
So there we go. And then we can't talk quarterbacks without the greatest quarterback who's ever lived. And we've mentioned him twice on the show now. Tim Tebow. He could lead the Jacksonville Jaguars to a Super Bowl. And then 8 years down the line, we'll talk about Tim Tebow maybe running for president after his football career. Who knows?
That's how we're gonna end this. Was that? That's what you're gonna do.
I mean, we can stick around if you want.
No, we gotta go. We're running. We ran way late, but it's okay.
Way late, man. What's 7 minutes? It's all good.
All right.
This is extended. You know what? Let's run 10. Let's run 10. We're not done.
We got 2 more minutes. Let's go.
Okay. Real quick, rapid fire All-Star Weekend coming up for basketball this weekend. Who do you got in the Skills Challenge? We got Drew Holiday, Brandon Knight, Jeff Teague, Tony Parker, Damian Lillard, Jeremy Lin.
I took Jeff Teague in the box scoring podcast. I'm gonna go Jeff Teague.
I'm gonna go Drew Holiday.
No, I took Drew Holiday. I took Drew Holiday.
Yeah, well, you already took Jeff Teague. Good luck with you.
Oh,
Gerald.
all right, fine. If you're gonna make me stick with somebody crappy, I'm gonna take Brandon Knight for you then.
Okay, thank you. Gerald Green, Terrence Ross, James White.
James White's gonna win.
Dunk contest, and then we got Eric Bledsoe, Jeremy Evans, and Kenneth Faried.
The final matchup would be James White versus.
I'm gonna take the Manimal.
That's a bad pick. He's not a dunker. Not a dunker in a contest. I mean.
Yeah, you know what? Gerald Green's another dude I've always liked. With that, he did that birthday cake, the cupcake, blew out the candle a couple years ago. I always thought that was dope.
3-point contest. Steve
We've
Novak.
got what? Oh, you gonna take Novak?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, this is actually a fun one. We got Paul George up in here, who I took on my team. Kyrie Irving, who Brady took on his team. We've got Ryan Anderson, who's been still lighting it up in New Orleans. We've got Matt Bonner, who is kind of replaced Scalabrine as like the victory cigar coming into play.
He's way better than Scalabrine though.
Yeah, but he's still kind of the same token guy like that. And then we got Steph Curry, and that's who I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take Steph Curry and the Golden State Storks, who one day will
Explain the
become
Storks to me real quick.
Real quick. This is Scott Eisinger, our music guru, not listening tonight, but this is kind of his and I's brainchild. One day, what's going to happen soon? 2 Chainz is going to purchase the Golden State Warriors just for kicks. There will be change then to the Golden State Storks from Warriors, following suit of the Pelican, kind of keep it with the bird theme. And it's just going to be a great time. They've got these new jerseys. We didn't really get to talk about them.
Disgusting.
The sleeve jerseys. Brady doesn't like them. He's afraid too many
fat people
are going to wear them. Let's just put it out there. But we'll see. He might change his tune once they start coming into Dick's. It's been fun, Brady. It's been good having you back on.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, we got our picks for the All-Star game. That'll be this weekend. If you have any, toss them up on the Facebook page. Red Bull Hotline is off for tonight. Brady, real quick, I know you've got a job looking in with Lakeland.
Nope, I don't know. We're not jinxing it. So
All right, we're not jinxing it. It's been fun having Brady back. Austin will be back regular time next week, Wednesday 6 to 8. It's been fun. We'll do it again next time. Hopefully we'll have Brady on one of these times, or maybe we can find somebody a little bit better. But we'll see you guys next week, eyeing the ball with Brady and Pete. Heads down, cuffs up. Until then.
drive safe, all.